Now at 6, how a business in Joplin focuses on cooling members of the community. Plus, Wildcat Glades invites the public to participate in a creek crawl. And Special Olympics athletes strike out for a bowling competition in southeast Kansas.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Southeast Kansas law officers are investigating a shooting incident that put 2 victims in the hospital. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. It happened in Independence on the 400 block of West Locust Street last night. 2 victims had arrived at different and nearby hospitals in private vehicles. Law officers say both victims were involved in the same incident and that the situation was aimed at specific individuals. But investigators are not yet giving further details of what happened or the conditions of those victims. Authorities are asking for people in the area to check their security cameras for evidence. Southwest Missouri authorities are investigating the drowning of a child. A 4-year-old girl was found unconscious in a home swimming pool in Marionville, Missouri last night. First responders tried to revive her at the scene, but the girl was later pronounced dead at the hospital in Aurora. The police department says there is no indication of wrongdoing and the death appears to be a tragic accident. The Always Buying Books bookstore in Joplin is helping people stay cool during the high temperatures. The owner of the store says he wants to help the community stay safe in the heat by providing free cooling towels and water. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has that story.
We have access to it and we think everyone should be able to at least cool down some because it's so hot. That's just something little that we can do.
Always Buying Books bookstore in Joplin is helping people stay cool and hydrated during the high temperatures lately. They're helping the community by handing out 90 cooling towels along with water bottles that the community can take and distribute.
We see people out on the streets. We saw a need and we've looking online, we found these towels and we thought that'd just be perfect.
This organization has communities who may be most vulnerable to heat on their minds, such as houseless people. That's why they're making it their goal to hand out as many cooling towels as possible, all for free.
Terrible with this heat. I'm at my age, I can just stay out just a few minutes. And I just imagine there's probably people on the street my age or close to it, and it's dangerous, very dangerous.
Elise Foley is a manager at the store, and she says she's seen firsthand how dangerous the heat can be for people who don't have shelter.
It's so hot, being dehydrated, being too hot, if they don't have, some place they can go to get out of the heat. So this, just a little way of helping them.
Wolf and Foley say that seeing people in need makes them more passionate about helping others in any way they can. Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Now you can find more information on where to find area cooling centers on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. We do have some cooler weather ahead. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us.
A few showers have already passed by. Temperatures already starting to dip down into the lower 80s, which is the coolest temperatures we've seen this evening in the last few days as well. Now, clouds are starting to clear out, which just means that those potential for severe storms are a little bit more likely due to the environment being prone to severe weather. Now, temperatures out in the western counties still a little bit warmer, 97 in Independence, 96 in Parsons, 92 in Sedan. But the showers that have already passed by over in Missouri cooled us off quite a bit, 83 in Joplin, 82 in Neosho and Carthage. Like I said, though, we still do have severe weather popping up. Now, since the clouds have cleared out, that just means that we're more susceptible to a few severe thunderstorms popping up later on this evening south of I-44, and we'll talk about it in just a bit.
See you soon. Abortion rights advocates in Arkansas are suing the state for rejecting petitions for a ballot measure to scale back the state's ban on the procedure. Arkansans for Limited Government is asking the state Supreme Court to reverse a decision by Secretary of State John Thurston not to count signatures submitted by their petitions. Thurston's office says the group didn't submit required documents related to the paid signature gatherers it used. The group says it did. The petitions aim to add a constitutional amendment question to the ballot to prohibit laws banning abortion in the first 20 weeks of pregnancy and adding exceptions for later terms. Naturalists at Wildcat Glades in Joplin took visitors about knee-deep into the waters of Shoal and Silver Creeks today. Visitors had a chance to learn about the life cycles of snails, worms, and crayfish, or crawdads, living in the creeks.
Those little tiny macroinvertebrates, which basically just look like little bugs that live in the rocks and under the leaf litter and logs that exist in the creek. These tiny little invertebrates that are in there may seem insignificant being so small, but they really are a huge indicator of the health of our water.
Joplin Parks and Recreation, the Missouri Department of Conservation, and Wildcat Glades Nature Group teamed up to make that event possible. Special Olympics bowlers in Southeast Kansas aimed for a chance to compete at the state level. More than 270 adult bowlers competed in the Southeast Regional Bowling Tournament today at Holiday Lanes in Pittsburgh. It's a chance for athletes with developmental and intellectual disabilities to not only compete but come together as a community, and the volunteers have almost as much fun as the athletes.
All I like to tell people is come and try out an event. You'll fall in love. We have a lot of repeat volunteers that just love to interact and kind of build those relationships with the athletes, and it's really cool to see them every year, remember each other from year to year.
The state bowling event will be held August 9th and 10th in Olathe, Kansas. McDonald County High School will honor former Mustangs with a Hall of Fame. John Dales has that story for us coming up later in sports. But up first, a young survivor wants to warn others about a deadly bacterial infection. A young toxic shock syndrome survivor is on a mission. She's warning others about the life-threatening bacterial infection that made her very sick. Charmel Odell has more on the dangers.
It was just really scary knowing that your life could just end right there.
For Kelsey Smith Anthony, it all started with a day of swimming at Lake of the Ozarks with a friend.
They spent 3 days there. They only swam in the lake on Tuesday.
After making it back home to Illinois, Kelsey starts to feel uneasy. Originally thinking her symptoms were signs of car sickness, it wasn't until 3 days after the trip Kelsey woke up and immediately blacked out. She was rushed to the emergency room where Kelsey's organs were starting to fail. She had to be transferred to the pediatric intensive care unit.
And then one of the nurses got a call saying that I had to be transferred to PICU. But they had to put another IV in me before that. And I didn't really know what it meant when I went to that section.
With a sky-high fever, Kelsey's heart rate was also extremely high. She had toxic shock syndrome.
So toxic shock syndrome, as its name implies, comes on suddenly and is usually a very dramatic onset of symptoms. Fever, chills, nausea or vomiting, confusion or mental cloudiness. And those are often associated with low blood pressure and rapid heart rate.
Anthony says her daughter's decline stemmed from using tampons, not from misusing them, but from bacteria the tampon absorbed while Kelsey was on the lake.
That's when they'd start questioning, has she been in any dirty water, any creeks?
Doctors also checked Kelsey for any open wounds, another cause of toxic shock syndrome. Although Kelsey can never wear tampons again, Anthony is just thankful this is the only change her daughter will have to adapt.
Doctors say in situations like this, the only way to prevent TSS is to be aware. They recommend not leaving a tampon in for an extended period of time, but more importantly, they say take care of any open wounds. A little bit later, exhibitors in Southeast Kansas head to the Bourbon County Fair.
And storms continue to fire up later on this evening. We'll talk about it right after the break. Well, it's been pretty hot the last couple days, but finally we see some relief as a cold front moves through the area. But taking a look downtown Joplin from the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex, looking dry right now. We did have a few showers that passed by earlier today. That's not part of the main cold front line. That's not moving in until later on this evening. It did, however, already cool us off in our area. Right now, showers have started to dissipate. We're going to have a few storms firing up south of I-44, so south of Joplin, starting around 9 p.m. and then continuing all the way through the overnight hours. First, a little bit more isolated in nature, but then we get into the overnight hours before about 7 a.m. We have some widespread shower chances continuing all the way through central and southern counties. We're in a level 2 out of 5 risk for Pittsburgh, Joplin, Carl Junction, Webb City, Monette, and all the other counties that are closer to Springfield. And then everywhere else, in a bit of a marginal risk, level 1 out of 5, might see some strong storms, but low and severe. We're not really expecting a very high threat unless you are in Missouri or even south of I-44 as well. Low hail risk. Hail could possibly get up to about a 1/4 inch. And then we've also got an elevated wind threat. That's mostly due to wind gusts getting up to 60, maybe even 65 miles per hour. Another threat that we're focusing on is going to be localized flooding as well. Storms moving pretty slow, so we could experience some localized flooding, especially since the ground's already saturated from a few showers earlier today as well. We're going to take a look at that future tracks. This is 9 p.m. We've got those storms firing up south of I-44, Bella Vista, Branson, and some of our far southwestern Missouri counties as well. Those are going to continue to pass by. And then right along the Kansas-Oklahoma border, it's about 11 p.m. A few isolated storms fire up just south of Joplin, moving into the Joplin metro closer to midnight. We're going to have maybe 1-2 severe isolated supercells moving through the area. Again, main threats are going to be strong damaging wind gusts, small hail, and localized flooding throughout the area. Now, after that passes by, we're going to have those widespread thunderstorms in the central and southern counties all the way through early Wednesday morning. We've got that cold front passing by, so temperatures drop nearly 15 degrees in the next several days after that. And even in the evening time, we're still going to see a few isolated showers hanging around, maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two as well. Not looking at a severe threat with the storms tomorrow night. Just might keep us cool in the next couple days as well. And then we're looking pretty good after that. Temperatures drop down about 15 degrees. Overnight lows in the low to mid 60s as well. So it's going to be cool nights ahead. And Thursday, Friday, going to stay dry and sunny. We do have a few shower and thunderstorm chances kicking off again this weekend. Not looking at a severe threat with those as well, but adding rain to the area may not be such a bad thing.
No, we generally need it this time of year, and
yes,
cooler temps, those are certainly welcome as well.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Lindsay. Still at McDonald County High School announces the inaugural class for its Athletics Hall of Fame. And some Southeast Kansas athletes take to the hardwood in Galena. John Dale says those stories and more up next in sports.
McDonald County High School announces today it will launch an Athletics Hall of Fame, which honors the pioneers of the Mustang sports program history. The inaugural class of inductees will be added to the Hall of Fame this coming fall. Now, the 2024 Hall of Fame class features Sue Thomas Buttram, Charles Harvey, LaDonna Wilson McLean, Bruce Stansell, and Susan Nyander Sutton, as well as the 1981 and 83 women's basketball teams, women's basketball coach Jerry Davis, men's basketball coach Jack Shaver, and contributor Rick Peck. McDonald County Athletic Director Bo Bergen says at a release, quote, "We are thrilled to have the opportunity to honor those who have made significant contributions to the McDonald County Athletics and have left a lasting legacy for future generations. The induction ceremony will be on September 21st. The night after, the inductees are honored at halftime of the Mustang football game against Nevada. Young basketball players in Galena get a lesson in one of the game's most important skills, scoring. Pure Heart Basketball hosts the scoring camp for students of all skill levels. Campers say going to a camp like this in the summer makes them more confident for when basketball season rolls around in the winter.
I started playing it when I was young, and I really just started to love it more the older I've gotten. And it's really competitive and it's fast-paced, which is both I like.
You know, like, be able to be confident in my moves, basically. It's like, I remember as a freshman, I wasn't so confident. I think coming here really made me more confident in my moves to like pass the ball, dribble, shoot. I mean, like, I have a rhythm now for what I want to do.
The Major League Baseball All-Star Game is tonight in Arlington, Texas. The American League takes on the National League in a contest that features one member of the St. Louis Cardinals and 4 Kansas City Royals. First pitch, the 2024 Midsummer Classic, scheduled for 7 o'clock tonight. It's taking place at Globe Life Field, the home of the defending World Series champion Texas Rangers. The National League won last year's game 3-2. However, the American League won the previous 9 All-Star games dating back to 2013. I'll give you a score update from this one later tonight at 10. Coinciding with the All-Star game, today marks the final day of the 2024 MLB Draft. Rounds 11 through 20 take place early this afternoon. The Royals drafted a ton of pitchers in the first 2 days. That doesn't change here in day 3. Kansas City selects 7 pitchers today, bringing its total to 15 pitchers out of the 20 prospects drafted by the Royals this year. They picked 2 left-handers from Mississippi State, Tyler Davis, who led the Bulldogs in saves this year, and Dane Burns, whose fastball is clocked in at 97 miles per hour while pitching in the New England Collegiate League this summer. Cardinals have much more of a variety in their draftees. Day 3, they select 5 position players, 5 pitchers. Redbird's first selection of the day, John Gazdar, who is dominating in the A-Sun Conference while playing for Austin Peay. In 2023, batted .308. He improved that to .405 this year with 13 home runs and 55 RBIs this past season. Another notable selection, Daniel Ortiz, hit .387 in his 2 years playing at the junior college level at Walters State in Tennessee. Back to the MLB All-Star Game. If we get any sort of the entertainment level similar to what we had last night for the Home Run Derby, should be in store for a good one.
Yeah, that one went down to the very end and missed by an inch. We'll be right back. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. It's been a summer full of reading at the Girard Public Library. Now they're handing out awards for the biggest bookworms. Plus, from worms to ticks, we're going to tell you how you can protect yourself from the aggressive Lone Star tick, which is found all over Missouri. And we're going to look at the effects of high temperatures on certain medications. Those stories, a lot more, is coming up tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Fair season in the 4 states makes its latest stop in Fort Scott, Kansas. Today, the Bourbon County Fair featured rabbit, poultry, sheep, and goats. Some seasoned exhibitors had their reasons for attending the fair.
I've been showing animals for a long time, so I just joined whenever I could.
My mom signed us up for it.
Okay, well, that's a reason the fair continues through Saturday. One reason you might want to go visit the fair is because the temperature is cooling down a bit, quite a bit.
Especially after the last couple of days, it's a welcomed break. We do have storms rolling through tonight, starting around 9 p.m. south of I-44, but continuing all night. You can join us here 9 and 10, and we'll have all the details.
Final sports note.
Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes arrive at Chiefs training camp in St. Joseph. First practices available to the public this weekend.
I love hearing about football.
Yeah.
I don't care that it's July. It's football season year-round for some of us. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.